So you're searching what fits in a 10 by 20 storage unit, and let me just say, you're not messing around. This isn't your first rodeo. You've got real stuff. Maybe a whole house, maybe a business, maybe both. Either way, you need serious space, and you need someone to tell you straight whether the 10 by 20 is going to cut it. I'm Margot Way, and I'm about to give you the full breakdown on what I call the one-car garage, because that's exactly what a 10 by 20 is. How big is a 10 by 20 storage unit? A 10 by 20 is 200 square feet. That's 10 feet wide by 20 feet deep. Picture a standard one-car garage, or a really big bedroom. Or, and this is the visual that actually clicks for people, enough space to park a full-size car or truck and still have room to walk around it. That's not an exaggeration. People literally store vehicles in 10 by 20s. With 8-foot ceilings, you're working with 1,600 cubic feet of total storage space. That's serious volume. That's where did my entire house go volume. What can you actually fit in a 10 by 20 storage unit? This is where the 10 by 20 flexes. It comfortably holds a 3 to 4 bedroom house, all of it. Living room, dining room, multiple bedrooms, mattresses, appliances, and 50 to 60 boxes. The whole operation. A car, truck, or large SUV, with room to spare for boxes and smaller items around it. If you're storing a vehicle plus stuff, this is your unit, an entire estate. When someone passes and you inherit a house full of belongings you're not ready to sort through yet. The 10 by 20 holds it all while you process and decide. A full business operation, retail inventory, restaurant equipment, contractor tools, event supplies. Enough space to actually organize by category instead of playing, where did I put that? A household plus outdoor equipment, patio furniture, lawnmower, snowblower, grills, bikes, kayaks, all the garage stuff, plus all the house stuff, together, in one place. Multi-generational storage, your stuff, your parents' stuff, that furniture your adult kid is definitely coming back for. All of it fits without anyone having to make hard decisions right now. The 10 by 20 is for people who need to store a life, not downsize it. Is a 10 by 20 big enough for a 4-bedroom house? For most 4-bedroom houses? Yes. Here's the thing people don't realize. The furniture from a 4-bedroom house takes up less space than you think. Beds compress, couches stack, dressers nestle. What takes up space is the other stuff. The garage, the basement, the attic, the I forgot that closet existed closet. If you're storing a standard 4-bedroom house with a normal amount of belongings, the 10 by 20 handles it beautifully. If you're storing a 4-bedroom house plus a 2-car garage full of tools, plus a basement that hasn't been cleaned out since 1997, plus outdoor equipment, plus that boat, you might need the 10 by 30. Can you really store a car in a 10 by 20? Absolutely. That's one of the main reasons people get this size. A 10 by 20 fits sedans, SUVs, trucks, classic cars, motorcycles, basically anything that fits in a standard garage. People store vehicles for all kinds of reasons. Seasonal storage for convertibles or motorcycles, protecting a classic car, keeping a vehicle safe during a long deployment or extended travel, having a second car without paying for a second parking spot. The key is making sure your facility allows vehicle storage. At YourWay, we do, as long as it's properly prepped. No leaking fluids, battery disconnected, that kind of thing. And here's a pro tip. If you're storing a vehicle plus some boxes and furniture, the 10 by 20 gives you room around the car to access your stuff without having to move the vehicle every time. How does a 10 by 20 compare to other sizes? Let me lay it out clean. A 10 by 10 is 100 square feet. That's a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment. A 10 by 15 is 150 square feet. That's a 2 to 3 bedroom house. A 10 by 20 is 200 square feet. That's a 3 to 4 bedroom house plus the garage, or a vehicle plus belongings. A 10 by 30 is 300 square feet. That's everything including the stuff you forgot you own. The 10 by 20 is where storage gets real. This isn't a closet. This isn't a spare room. This is a legitimate space for legitimate life situations. How much does a 10 by 20 storage unit cost? It's a bigger unit, so yes, it costs more than the smaller one, but probably not as much as you're bracing for. At YourWay Storage, we don't do games. The price online is the price you pay. No promotional rate that disappears after 30 days. No admin fees that show up at checkout. No required insurance upsells. You can check rates for your location in about 30 seconds. And when you're comparing prices across facilities, make sure you're comparing the real monthly rate, not the teaser rate that triples in month 2. We've seen people save money on a cheaper facility and end up paying double within a year. That's not savings. That's a trap with a padlock. Should you get climate control for a 10 by 20? If you're storing a household, yes. If you're storing a vehicle, it depends. Here's the breakdown. For furniture, electronics, documents, photos, anything with wood, leather, fabric, or sentimental value, climate control is worth every penny. Temperature swings cause damage you don't see until it's too late. Humidity breeds mold, mildew, and regret. For vehicles, climate control is a nice to have, not a must have, as long as you prep the car properly. But if you're storing a classic car or anything with a leather interior, climate control keeps everything in better shape. Business inventory, it depends what you're storing. Paper products, electronics, and anything moisture sensitive should be climate controlled. Metal tools and equipment are usually fine without it. My rule of thumb, if replacing it would hurt, financially or emotionally, climate control it. Now here's where I put on my therapist hat for a minute. A 10 by 20 isn't just storage. It's a holding pattern for major life transitions. It's where your house goes when you're selling one home and haven't closed on the next one yet, when the timing doesn't line up and you need somewhere for everything to land. It's where an entire estate lives, while the family figures out who wants what gets donated, and what gets kept. That process takes time. Grief takes time. The 10 by 20 gives you that time. It's where the business inventory goes when you outgrow your garage but aren't ready for a warehouse lease. When you need to scale but need to stay flexible. It's permission to not have it all figured out yet. And here's what nobody tells you about big life transitions. They almost always require more space than you planned for. More time, more room to breathe. A 10 by 20 is breathing room. But here's my honest advice. And I give this to everyone. If you're on the fence, go bigger. The 10 by 20 handles a lot. A whole lot. But if you looked at that list and felt your shoulders tense up, if you thought, I don't know if everything's gonna fit, the 10 by 30 is usually not that much more per month. We're talking an extra 100 square feet. That's 50% more space. That's the difference between it all fits and I can actually find things. Here's what I know after years of doing this. People who cram into a smaller unit to save $30 a month end up miserable. They can't access their stuff. They can't organize. They dread every visit. And sometimes they end up renting a second unit anyway, which costs more than just getting the bigger one from the start. Nobody has ever called me and said, Margot, I wish I'd gotten less space. You know what they say? I should have sized up. It's practically a natural law at this point. So if you've measured everything, made your lists, and you know exactly what you're working with, the 10 by 20 is a powerhouse choice. But if there's any question, what about the garage stuff? Any chance you'll need to add more over time? Get the 10 by 30. Give yourself the margin. Future You Will Send present you a fruit basket. Here's the bottom line. The 10 by 20 is the one-car garage. It's the whole house solution. It's the vehicle plus stuff answer. It's for people who have real things to store and need real space to store them. Got emotional baggage? We've got units. Because sometimes peace needs 200 square feet, or maybe 300, just to give yourself room to breathe. When life gets messy, store it your way.
Whether you're in Somerville, The Hill, or over by Augusta National, we're right here at 3637 Walton Way, ready to help you get your space back. YourWay Storage, Augusta. When life gets messy, store it your way.